Have you ever been told you're too much, too loud, too emotional, too intense? Ouch, this one. Too sensitive, too talkative, guilty as charged, too ambitious, too scattered. Maybe it showed up at a performance review. Maybe it came from a partner giving you that look. You know the one. While you were dot connecting at 100 miles an hour. Maybe it came from a teacher who wrote on your report card, capable student, but her own worst enemy. And if you're a midlife woman with ADHD, there's a good chance you spent decades trying to become less of yourself just to feel acceptable. But what if the problem was never you? I'm Catherine Avery, neurozesty coach for women 50 plus, for the most part, few good men. If your brain feels like it has 50 tabs open and life isn't working the way it used to, I help you navigate that season shift with practical systems, compassion, and a new way of thinking about productivity. So here's what nobody tells you about being called too much. Most of the time, it's code for you're inconvenient to a system that wasn't built for you. Now imagine trying to fit a lightning bolt into a mason jar. The problem isn't the lightning, it's the jar. I spent years editing myself, making my excitement smaller, making my ideas quieter, softening my enthusiasm so I wouldn't overwhelm people. But that wasn't self-awareness, that was self-protection. I wasn't too much. I was just in spaces too small to hold me. And honestly, a lot of us are still trying to survive in these jars that we outgrew years ago. But there's an even deeper problem underneath all of this. We've been following the wrong instruction manual our entire lives, or just a different instruction manual, let's be honest. For years, I tried to run my ADHD brain like everybody else's. I followed all the normal productivity advice, use the planner, work harder, stay consistent, just focus, push through. Meanwhile, my brain was over here functioning like a race car with bicycle brakes. We hyper-focus, we crash, we scatter energy in 12 directions. We sprint, then we stall. And because of that, many of us assume, I must be broken. But the problem isn't the car, it's the manual. You don't fix a race car by forcing it to drive like a minivan. So everything changed for me when I realized I didn't need more shame. I needed different instructions. But first, I had to reject the wrong story someone else handed to me. About 30 years ago, a therapist told me that I didn't know how to talk to people. He was sure that I was just being obstinate. I call him Dr. Salami because he was cold, clinical, and unyielding, and I need some damn humor with my therapy. He bought into all that Freudian business. It was just never going to work for me. And hey, if it works for you, great, awesome. But I remember the day this tiny little voice inside me saying, I just call BS on all of that, buddy. So I grabbed my bag and I looked him dead in the eye and I said, I used to talk to Fred, my former therapist. I just don't want to talk to you. We're done. That moment absolutely changed my life because I realized something incredibly important. That wasn't my story. It was a story someone else was trying to force onto me. And I think a lot of ADHD women have lived into this, being told you're lazy, dramatic, inconsistent, anxious, too smart to have ADHD, loved that one, not trying hard enough. At some point, saving yourself means saying no. That story doesn't belong to me anymore. But the damage from the years of hearing those stories runs really deep, like deeper than most people realize. Research says that by age 12, children with ADHD receive around 20,000 more negative messages than their neurotypical peers. 20,000. That's a lot of too much, not enough, why can't you just, what's wrong with you? And eventually those messages turn into automatic apologies. We apologize for asking questions, for needing directions yet again, for forgetting things, laughing too loudly, taking up space. I was going to say too much space, but just space at all. Existing while human. Every unnecessary sorry becomes a tiny act of self-erasure. And for those of us in the sandwich generation, it gets even heavier. We become emotional air traffic controllers trying to land everybody else's planes. The kids, the aging parents, the work deadlines, the appointments, the holidays, the emotional labor. Meanwhile, planes are landing directly on top of us, right? And then when the resentment shows up, and sorry, but it will, we apologize for that too. Did I just say sorry? That's hilarious. But what if resentment isn't failure? What if it's transformation? What if it's your body saying you cannot keep abandoning yourself? And also, don't say sorry during your video. So how do we stop shrinking? How do we stop saying friggin' sorry? We stop trying to fix ourselves and we start building lives that actually support us. I've moved away from the whole ADHD is a superpower. I just don't buy into that. Because honestly, that narrative can feel really toxic for exhausted midlife women who are staring at laundry in the dryer, 5,000 unread emails, if you're lucky, overdue paperwork, nervous system burnout. So I prefer to kind of call it honest brilliance, right? Because both things are true, right? We got to be honest about where we're struggling, but we're also really freaking brilliant. At least the people I work with are. So yes, we connect dots other people miss. We create magic under pressure. We're creative and intuitive and deeply empathetic. And also, sometimes we leave the groceries in the car, lose the keys, and melt down over a really important missed email. Both things can be true at once. You don't need a cape. You're not Wonder Woman. You need support. You need systems. You need what I call sense. Sleep, exercise, nutrition, systems, environment. Not perfection, support. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is what I call a strategic pause. Like fishermen mending their nets instead of constantly trying to catch fish, right? Rainy day, you're not going out to catch fish. Sometimes you just need to stop long enough to repair those fragile systems that are holding your life together. Sometimes you need to ask yourself, what's my minimum today? And sometimes healing starts with realizing that no, got that? It's a complete sentence. The right people do not ask you to turn down your volume. They hand you a microphone. They do not ask you to squeeze yourself into that little bitty mason jar. They want to see your lightning. That's what belonging actually is. Not fitting in, but finding your frequency. And when you stop apologizing for existing, you give the people watching you permission to do the same. Your daughters, your nieces, your friends, your mom, your community. That matters. So here's your micro challenge today, because I'm not going to let you off the hook. You got to do something. Pick one space where you let yourself be 10% more you than you have been lately. Not 100%, just 10%. Maybe you stop apologizing before asking a question. Maybe you speak up in the meeting. Maybe you wear the too much sweater. I don't know if this is too much, but I like it. Tiny shifts matter because reclaiming your story isn't just healing for you, it heals everyone. Get that? Watching you finally stop shrinking. So if this resonated, I'd love to hear what part hit home for you in the comments. And if you're a neurozesty midlife woman trying to build a life that actually fits your brain, instead of freaking fighting it every day, make sure you subscribe, that subscribe button. We do this one tab at a time.